Alright, in this video we're going to have a look at a similar graph, and that's the truncus. And a truncus is y equals 1 over x squared. Now, first thing again to note, we can't have x equals 0. Okay, because we can't divide by 0. Again, for the y, okay, we can't have y equals 0 either. Okay, so 2 points, automatically we can say they're two asymptotes again. Okay, so before we've even got anywhere, I can already say I've got an asymptote that goes down the center of the axes. Okay, one that goes down, one that goes across. Now, I'm going to just do a couple of examples for a table of values again. So we'll say, let's go -2, -1, minus a half, and 0, a half, 1, 2. Okay, what happens at -2? -2 squared, we get 1 over 4. At -1, we get 1 over, well, that'll be just 1. At a half, now again, we get y equals 1 divided by minus a half. Okay, flip and multiply. We get 1 times 2 over 1, negative, and that's going to be -2. So there we get -2. At 0, not defined. At a half, we're going to get a +2. At 1, it's going to be just 1, and 2, it's going to be 1 over 4. And if I went either side of 2, we'll get 1 over 9, etc. So, similar case. What happens at 0? Well, I haven't really gone into it, but if we go one more, which is a quarter, okay, 1 over 4, 4 squared. Okay, flip and multiply. You get 4, -4. So y equals -4. Sorry, that should be squared. Yeah, so, sorry, go back to this point here. We've got 1 over that point squared. Okay, squared. We actually get 1 over, got 1 times 4, which is +4. And here we've got to square it. 1 times 4 squared, so it's going to be 16. So I'll just fix those up. So that should be a +4 and a +16 there. And similar case here, +4, and if we go a quarter, it'll be 16 there. So as you can see, the closer we get to 0, the higher the numbers are going to be. Okay, we get really steep quite quickly, and that's because of the squared part. But on the other side, where we get high numbers for x, we actually get really low numbers for y, similar to the other graph. Okay, so if we put those points in, okay, as I said, it gets very close to 0, but never touches it. We actually get something that looks like that, and that's because of the squared. Okay, notice these numbers are all positive, as with all these numbers. Okay, that's because we square it. So the negatives get squared, they become positive. So before we had a graph where it went down in the negatives, but now we've got something that goes up in the positives, and that's because of the squaring. So that's the graph of the truncus graph, y equals 1 on x squared. And very similar case when we dilate it and translate it. I'll just go through a quick example on dilating. So if we had y equals 2 on x squared, well, it's just going to be that same point there. It's going to get dilated. So it's going to go out quite steeper. Okay, and same thing on that side. Okay, so that point would be that graph. Now, again, we've got two asymptotes. If we had something that dilated it to the left or right, okay, y equals 1 over x plus 1 squared, we'd move this graph to the left 1. Okay, again, the opposite of it. And if we had a plus 2 on the end, for example, it would be plus 2, so we move it up. Okay, so inside the brackets would move it left or right, outside moves it up and down. And again, if we had a negative to reflect it, it would be all down here. Okay, just gets mirrored across the x-axis. So that's the graph of 1 on x squared. Okay, I'll go through an example in the next video, so stick around.